hope that it's one of your favorites. Here he is singing Blues in the Night. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Stafford. Joe Stafford.
And he does, and it's caught! Touchdown! Chris Matthews! How crazy.
With the first pick in the 2009 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Joe Stafford, quarterback, Georgia.
Good kick up into the air. It is loose and recovered by Seattle. Chris Matthews.
So let's get started.
There we go. It sounded horrible because of his connection. But anyway, Stafford and Matthews, episode 27 now. If you're wondering if this has been released before the last episode, sorry, our mock draft got delayed. Our producer's on vacation. Shout out to Brandon Watabe as well. He's a producer, a longtime friend of mine. Been on the grind with him for close to a year and a half, 2 years now. So solid dude. We actually was at Fenway for the first time. Huge Sox fan. That's cool. We kind of started opening stuff back up in Boston, which is cool. Drove by today. City seems more alive than ever, which is really cool to see, especially from being from there. So, how's everybody doing? First of all,
I'm great, man. Can't complain.
Kev,
same here.
There we go.
Nothing's really changing, but that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I like
these.
these.
It is getting a little chilly. But hey,
it's getting warmer over here. It was like 50 degrees today, 60 degrees today.
Really?
No, it was good.
Yeah,
it
was nice in New York too.
It was nice.
I wish.
It was real nice. Anyway, boys, we have kind of actually before we start with the actual show, need to address one thing. I'm sure you guys are probably on our ass. I've seen a couple of responses on our Instagram page. Matt Judon. Okay, kind of the elephant in the room. I'll let Chris kind of handle that right now. Obviously, we're supposed to record with him. I guess last week or a couple weeks ago. I don't really know what the timeline was. Really, we had to reschedule a number of times, but I'll let Chris kind of handle that because that's his boy. So, Chris, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, man, it's just timing. That's all it is. You know, he has other things that he's trying to get done right now, you know, especially with the change and moving and all of this stuff that you have to deal with changing teams. And right now it's just not the time for him right now, but he will be on the show soon.
Perfect. That's the best way to describe it, I guess. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys. First of all, Ride the Wave has a lot of haters. Like half our fan base, people want to see us like fail. It sucks. It's brutal.
I know.
It really is tough. And so they've been all over.
Love though.
Yeah, I want some love too. They've been all over the main page saying like, "Oh, where was Metro John? If you guys don't even have him, you're lying. You're capping all that stuff." Like, no, we weren't capping. If you guys haven't been in media before, you have to put a promo out before it actually happens to get people excited about it, or else people wouldn't even know it's happening, especially with our platform as small as this one right now. Just keep that in mind. Also, interview coming on the way. Chris's boy, and a lot of you guys know him, obviously, as one of the better Ohio State quarterbacks of all time, Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor, which is a really cool interview for us to have as well. Obviously, Justin Fields, top quarterback in this draft class, is going to be a similar type player in the NFL. Hopefully, we'll see. But I am very, very intrigued by having the Pryor effect kind of happen with Fields in the Ohio State connection there. So, Chris, first of all, how do you even know Terrell?
Well, we played together in Seattle. It was when I believe that's when I first met him. He came over and he was playing quarterback and receiver at that time. He came into Seattle and he was, we just kind of just hit it off, to be honest with you. Same kind of a work ethic, same height, same build. So we was already looking at each other like, who is this guy? But he's a good dude, great guy to pick his brain and, get some knowledge from.
For sure, and one of the better athletes the NFL's seen the last decade.
Absolutely.
So, and I think people obviously take a different approach when players switch positions. Like, oh, they can hack at the position they're currently at. It's not that. To be able to change positions at the highest level and have some moderate success to high-level success is unbelievable. He is one of the only players in NFL history, and I don't really have the list in front of me. I don't know. I can't really verify this, but has to be like one of, three, maybe one of one, to have a 1,000-yard passing season and 1,000-yard receiving season. Like that's really unbelievable when you think about it from my perspective.
Seriously.
Just so gifted athletically, and obviously with the connection with Fields, it's perfect timing to have the guy on. So stay tuned for that. Probably record that within the next week or so and get that released to you as soon as possible before the draft. We promise before the draft. And also exciting news as well. Me and Chris and Kev are currently trying to weasel our way into the NFL draft experience in Cleveland, Ohio, the most exciting city on earth, as Joakim Noah loves to say so proudly. Hopefully we can sneak in for you guys, kind of schmooze some ESPN and Barstool execs, get on a better platform. Who knows? You never really know. Love ride the wave if we do, but we like money too. So hopefully we can persuade somebody to kind of slide in for us. But yeah. All right. Actual showtime. Exciting news. Kind of really big news for the draft in a way as well. Sam Darnold, former 3rd overall pick for the New York Jets, has been traded to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for 3 draft picks. I believe a 6th, a 2nd, and a 4th, something like that, in the draft this year and next year. 6 rounders this year, and then other 2 picks are the year following. Ramifications-wise, I think there's a few. Obviously, Teddy Bridgewater is the main guy I think about when I talk about ramifications short-term. Sam Darnold is being given to Carolina as their franchise quarterback. That's the reason they got him. That's the reason they're going to play him in front of Teddy Bridgewater. Understandably, Bridgewater's probably pissed. I mean, I would be too. He had 1 year during a pandemic, coming back from an atrocious injury, makes a huge comeback, has a mediocre season to be fair. But the Panthers themselves had a pretty good season in general. I mean, to be fair, they had a really tough division this year. The NFC South was loaded with talent, obviously with the Bucs reigning as Super Bowl champions. But I think it's fair to say Bridgewater hasn't looked as good as we've hoped, but it's still a great comeback story in general. Regardless, Darnold comes in now into camp as the franchise guy, not as the bridge guy, not as the maybe veteran guy, as the franchise guy. People don't understand how young this guy is. He's only 23, 24 years old. Like, he has an entire career ahead of him. He's already played 3 years with one of the worst franchises in NFL history. So now you reunite him with his buddy Robbie Anderson down in Carolina, and you're going to add a couple more weapons, I'm assuming, in the draft. You're sitting there 8 overall as well. Chris, what were your thoughts about this trade, and what do you think Sam Darnold will bring to Carolina?
I think he'd bring a lot of electric throws and elusiveness in the pocket. I think it'll be a great fit. Something that he absolutely needed, especially at this early juncture in his career, because it just wasn't looking good. It just wasn't looking good for him. And I was pulling for the kid, especially when he was coming out of USC. He was just a beast, especially having the talent around him. And he was just making it look effortless. So for him to get away from Adam Gates and that organization is a great move for him. I definitely think it's a loss for the Jets, only because they just don't have everything down packed right now with what they're doing. And yeah, I'm super excited for him, man. I think it'll be a great move for him in a great division, where he's going to have some competition. He's going to have to fight, but it's only going to make him grow. It's going to make him better.
Those SoCal boys stick together. I like it. The USC connection right there. That's cool.
You already know.
Exactly. And it comes into a better situation regardless. Obviously, the franchise itself, 10 times better. Even though Carolina hasn't really enjoyed any success besides that postseason run in 2003, they are a much more stable organization than the Jets will ever be. That's just the bottom line. Some organizations are functional, some aren't. Panthers haven't had unreal success since being a relocation team in, 1990-something? I don't know. But still, point still stands, more functional than the Jets. And obviously comes in with more weapons now. We already mentioned Robbie Anderson gets reunited with Sam Darnold. Probably, it's fair to say, his favorite target during his time in New York over the course of his first 3 years. Also brings into a guy, DJ Moore, who people have been predicting for the last 2 years he's going to break out in the scene and be this great 1,000-yard receiver with multiple or double-digit touchdowns and everything. I think Darnold could break through that kind of mold and have him be that number one people will actually expect him to be. I would love this offense a lot more if Curtis Samuel had stayed in Carolina. And I think if they had traded for Darnold prior to free agency, you might have seen him stay around a little bit. Because obviously Washington has a kind of a cool draw with Fitzpatrick now and Terry McLaurin. I think he wanted to team up with his former college teammate there. But regardless, if Darnold had been in Carolina prior to that signing, I do think there would have been a better chance Curtis Samuel would have stayed, had a nice little receiver running back kind of dynamic there with Samuel in the backfield and out wide, which would have been cool for Darnold to kind of explore a little bit. He didn't really have a lot of that with the Jets at his time, but definitely something to explore here for the Carolina Panthers offense. Also, David Moore, veteran receiver from the Seahawks, is coming over to Carolina as well. Signed, I think, a 1-year prove-it deal with the Panthers this offseason. Solid player, great possession guy, makes a lot of circus catches, and is really underrated in that Seattle room. Obviously, he's a crowded room with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, but to his credit, David Moore is a very solid option on the outside. So
he held his own. He held his own.
For sure, held his own, especially in like a crowded room, like I just said. So definitely going to be intriguing to see what he can do in Carolina now that he has a little bit more separation and a little bit more of a defined role, which he can kind of explore here. And one more thing too, back to Robbie Anderson. And I hate to keep harping on the point here, but he was one of the most underrated receivers this past year. What was sneaky good was, I think, 4th or 5th in the league in receiving yards. Had a ton of great yak catches and rat catches. And it's obviously a speed demon. Obviously, he's had his trouble off the field. A few arrests in Miami have kind of pointed to some issues with his personal life. But if he can stay healthy and can stay clean and can stay, out of trouble, I think this offense has potential to be something special. So I think Carolina's a very intriguing spot now. And speaking of intriguing, you're now looking at the number 8 overall pick, and you're sitting there now. You are out of the quarterback conversation. If Mac Jones falls, you're not getting him. You're not trading up to get Trey Lance. You're not trading up to get Justin Fields. You're not trading up to get any of these quarterbacks at the top of the draft. You're sitting there at 8 now. And the way my mock draft fell from the last time I posted, so Stafford's mock draft 2.0, if you guys haven't heard it yet, it's on Ride the Wave Media, Stafford and Matthews Instagram page, and it should be released as a kind of a review thing on our previous episode 25. That's not up before. Sorry. We'll try to get to it as quick as possible, but it will be up at some point. Going back to the mock draft I was just talking about. So, as of right now, in mock draft 2.0, before the trade, I had him taking Jalen Waddle, receiver out of Alabama at number 8. Now the quarterback situation is under control more. And now they have more of a direction. In my mock draft, I had Penei Sewell slipping to 9. If Sewell is there at 8, or Sewell, whatever the hell, however you pronounce his name, just one of the best prospects, offensive tackle prospects since Quentin Nelson, since Joe Thomas, since some of these elite offensive linemen have come out, is sitting there at number 8. It's going to be really hard to pass up on a guy like that. Very, very hard. And now, if you bring in Sewell, you now have a franchise left tackle, a potential franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold, a pretty good receiving core, and a defense that's growing in leaps and bounds. Carolina's going to be a very intriguing team this year. Chris, if you're sitting there at number 8 now, and now you're out of the quarterback controversy, you're out of kind of this weird wild card spot in the top 10. If you're Carolina, who are you trying to target, or rather, what position would you rather target in the draft to improve this roster even more?
Well, I think it's pretty clear for me. I've been harping on this since before the season even ended. The 2020 season had even ended. You need to go out for linemen, offensive linemen. If you have Penny out there and he's still sitting out there, why wouldn't you? That would be a no-brainer for me, honestly. You have the quarterback, you have a decent receiving core, which still you can pick up some pieces throughout the draft, because it's a heavy hand of receivers out here as well as quarterbacks. But yeah, go for that tackle, go for that premier tackle, that Joe Thomas like type of a guy. And put them on the roster, let them gel together, and I'm telling you, they'll mess around and be a scary team to be to go into and play.
And not even to mention, we forgot about him completely. CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, one of the most dynamic running backs.
I didn't forget.
Well, no, I forgot to mention him, I should say. Yeah, I forgot. All right, Chris, easy. Take it easy. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, solid as they come. One of the most dynamic running backs in the league. And I should actually say dynamic weapons in the league, because this guy is much more than a running back. So obviously having him in the backfield will help Darnold tremendously. We've seen the Jets, prior to trading him, try to put some talent around him in the backfield. You've seen the Le'Veon Bell experiment. You've seen the Frank Gore experiment. It hasn't really worked out. And obviously, you've seen Le'Veon Bell, Pittsburgh-type player. If he was on the Jets at that time, maybe you'll see a little bit of a different dynamic going on. But now you have McCaffrey in his prime, coming off a solid season, and coming off kind of an injury-prone season. Maybe get some more time to heal up now. A lot more will be off his back now with Darnold in the offense now, because Bridgewater, we all know, has always been a game manager type guy. So hopefully we see Darnold kind of sling it around the park and give McCaffrey a little bit of a break, lighten his work a little bit, and we'll see McCaffrey in the league for a lot longer in his prime than we were expecting maybe. And speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, what now? I mean, really, like, what now? Like, what do you think Bridgewater's does now? And I've seen on the rumor mill now that he's starting to seek trades with other teams. The Panthers have given permission to do so, but they're also open to keeping him. They're also open to keeping him as a high-end backup type value.
Yeah, just restructure his contract, yeah.
Right, but even so, it's still $10 million guaranteed. So you still have to work around that even for the salary cap. So, Chris, if you're Bridgewater, where do you want to go, landing spots, and what would you think is the best fit for Teddy B?
Honestly, I was looking at Washington. I think Washington would be a great team for him to go into and fight for a spot, honestly, because I don't think that they'll be out of the conversation of picking up somebody as well. Just to have that fight, because I don't ever agree with just giving people positions or anything like that. But if you was to go ahead, pick up Teddy Bridgewater, let him fight for that starting spot, it will be a great battle, because let's all be honest here. Teddy Bridgewater is not a bust. He is a really good player who's just had bad luck with injuries, and he's been a journeyman ever since then. But other than that, he's still a very good quarterback who can throw the ball, who's very smart. He can run. He obviously showed us that with his spin moves and stuff. I think it's just something that it's just in him to be a player. This is one of those things that that comes along and you get inside of you that's like, oh yeah, like that guy is a baller right there. And that's exactly what Teddy Bridgewater is. He just needs to find him a home to really let him flourish, because 1 year isn't going to do anything. We've already established that with Cam Newton. He had 1 year and it was terrible, but now he has a following year. Let's see what he does with this and move on from there. So I just think if he would have had more time in Carolina, it would have been great. But I mean, the Sam Darnold pickup, that's almost like a no-brainer. He's younger. You know what I'm saying? He has more time to grow and understand and pick up from other veterans. So, yeah, Teddy Bridgewater to Washington would seem like a good pick for me.
I like Washington, too. Kind of guy like Fitzmagic, kind of mentor him a little bit. I'm biased, though. I would love to see Taylor Heineke at least get a shot starting. I know it's probably a long shot, but I love the kid. I mean, watching that playoff game against Tampa Bay, he gave Tom Brady a hell of a fight, and it was really easy to root for the guy. So, I mean, I would like to see him get a shot, but I understand what you're saying. I think if Washington had a chance to go get him for a low price, I think it's a no-brainer as well.
Absolutely.
A couple other teams to talk about as well when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater. How about a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers? I mean, yes, they signed Dwayne Haskins off the free agent market during the midway through the point of the last season. And yeah, Big Ben's still the starter, quote-unquote, even though he's getting older and spending more money. Regardless, it would still be a good pickup if it's a low round pick. If you're trading a 6th round pick to go get Teddy Bridgewater and maybe have him be the bridge guy or the guy, period. We don't really know what he would end up being in Pittsburgh. I think it's worth doing as well. I saw Denver out there. I didn't love the Denver thing. I'm a big Drew Lock guy. I think he got kind of screwed the last year. Obviously, he had Cortland Sutton tear his ACL early in the year. He had Phillip Lindsay go down with an injury. He was out for multiple, I think 5-6 weeks. He had Melvin Gordon get a DUI and get a concussion the same week. I mean, it definitely was not a good, coherent type of transition to be the franchise guy. So I'd like to see Denver give him at least one more full year of a healthy roster just to see what he can do. Because I think the kid showed a lot the previous season before this one that he can ball with a healthy roster. So maybe just pump the brakes in Denver for Teddy Bridgewater. I don't love that fit. Another team to kind of keep your eye on, and maybe it's kind of crazy to think about this, how about Jacksonville? You're trading a 6th or 7th round pick now to get Teddy Bridgewater, and you have a veteran guy to kind of teach Trevor Lawrence the ropes, how to be a professional, how to study, how to prepare for your role, and also perseverance, how to be tough. Teddy Bridgewater came back from a gruesome injury, a terrible ACL tear, and his entire knee was ripped up. And so when you have a guy with a story like that, with a background like that, it's always worthwhile to invest and to have a guy teach your franchise quarterback how to be a professional. I think it'd be a very intriguing fit. I don't think, obviously, he'd play a lot or anything, but I think it'd be a good veteran presence behind Lawrence to not only push him to be better, but to teach him how to be a better professional. And I like that fit a lot as well. And that's a fit that nobody's really talking about either. So I kind of like that as like a dark horse team to kind of pick him up.
Right.
Kev, any thoughts on the Sam Darnold trade before we move on here?
I think it's a loss for the Jets. I do like Sam Darnold. I was kind of rooting for him to come to the Patriots at one point when we were like going through quarterbacks, because I think he's a good quarterback and I think he'll do well in Carolina.
Yeah, I meant to say too. I'm a Patriots season ticket holder, so I have been to almost every game in the past 5-6 years, and I remember Sam Darnold's rookie year. I was really intrigued by the guy going third overall to a dismal place named the New York Jets, and comes to Foxborough for the first time, and I'm thinking, hey, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to crack under Bill Belichick's rookie curse? Obviously, Bill Belichick's one of the best defensive coordinators against rookie quarterbacks, or actually inexperienced quarterbacks in general. And so going in, I didn't really have high hopes. I was intrigued, though. I get in the stadium, get in my seats, section 141 stand up, watch the game. Patriots are demolishing the Jets, as they always do. They beat the shit out of the Jets every time they play them. And I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're going to throw in the towel, as Jets always do, towards the end of the second half. I'm like, oh, this game's over. And then I see Darnold kind of lock in, and I see a lot of, it's going to sound kind of shocking to hear, I saw a lot of Brett Favre in the guy. I really did. I saw a lot of Brett Favre. I saw a lot of gutsy. Hold on a second, Chris. I saw a lot of gutsy balls. I saw a lot of passion. I saw a lot of great arm strength, and I saw a willingness to compete until the very end, regardless of interceptions. And another guy that reminds me of also is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is like discount Walmart Brett Favre. I think Phillip Rivers is a good comp for Sam Darnold's play style. Being able to be that tough guy to hang in there after a lot of mistakes, being able to throw the ball down the field without being scared after those mistakes. I saw a lot of Favre and a lot of Rivers in Sam Darnold when I saw him his rookie year. And the stats would actually prove that, and not in the way you would think. So he hadn't had a year so far, Sam Darnold, without double-digit interceptions. So just like Favre already, 15 picks his rookie year, 13 picks his second year, and 11 this past year. Touchdown-wise, 17 his first year, 19 his second year, and just 9 his past year. But obviously, this is a throwaway year for the Jets anyway. I just think the play styles match up a lot. I think Darnold has a little bit of the Favre Rivers factor inside of him. And I am intrigued to see if Matt Rule, as a second-year head coach, can kind of get it out of him and bring that warrior mentality to Carolina's offense.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When did Brett Favre get traded? Or when did he leave the Packers?
Well, he left twice. He was addicted to painkillers at one point, retired, he came back. I believe he was traded for the first time in 2008 to the Jets.
And what is that? What would we say, is that like 8 years after he was drafted?
8 to 10. Actually, before, just to impress you historians, he actually traded before the Packers. He was on the Falcons. But the Falcons was traded after his rookie year.
Right.
So second time he got traded was 2008. So probably like 8 to 10 years. Yeah. Why?
Yeah. So how is it that this guy, Brett Favre, gets traded 8 to 10 years after playing for Green Bay, and you're saying that he has the same kind of feeling? You got the same kind of feeling about Sam Darnold. He just got traded.
Well, it's not about the effect or the impact he's going to have on a team. It's more of just the willingness to compete, throw picks, and hang tough in the pocket after throwing those. That's more I was talking. I wasn't saying he's going to become Brett Favre. I'm not saying he's going to become Phillip Rivers even. I'm just saying he has the same type of ballsiness that you like to see from quarterbacks like a Brett Favre and Phillip Rivers.
Man, if my job is on the line, I'm throwing the ball too. I'm going to throw the ball as many times
again,
as I
Chris,
can.
But again, a lot of quarterbacks are hesitant to do that. You've seen that throughout your entire career. Some players don't have balls. That's the bottom. Some players are too afraid to make a mistake. Some players won't go downfield. Some players won't even go outside their comfort zone. But Darnold does all three. That's all I'm trying to say.
I sometimes you just baffle me with some of your comparisons, but I hear it. I hear what you're saying. It just baffles me with some of your comparisons when you come up with these quarterbacks.
Well, that's fine. I'm my own person. You're your own person. That's fine.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm
we're good.
not going against you. I just, it's baffling. It's baffling.
I won't ask Kev what his opinion is because he's going to agree with me like he always does. So we'll give you a break on that one. Always do. We are a Boston boys.
I thought he was a Jets fan. Then he turned around. He's a Patriots fan. Now I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I don't know about comparing him to Brett Favre, but I know Adam Gase isn't doing him any favors. So,
hey, it's all right. I'm a bold guy. Chris, I'm a bold guy.
The only one.
I've never been afraid to run my mouth. I think we all know that by now. I'm a bold guy. And I enjoy being in that role because I love when trolls come at me about my takes and then they're proven wrong about 45% of the time. And in that minority percent of the time, I thrive. And I love doing it. But yeah, Darnold's a Panther. Just keep your eye on that. The Falcons are kind of falling off, been falling off since the Super Bowl. You had the Saints falling off without Drew Brees in a terrible salary cap situation. Maybe a wild card berth. You never know. You never really know.
No, that's true. No, I agree with you on that part. The Panthers look like they're going to be a really good team. That's what it looks like to me. They keep on. I mean, if they keep on adding on with this, of course, with this draft that's coming up, and they pick up some key players, especially with a chance to get Penny, and then you add on around there with I would honestly say another receiver. I think they would be doing really good.
All right, fair enough. I think we're all in agreement there. All right, next part of the show, we're going to break down, and we were originally going to do a fit for each team, but that's a lot. So what we're going to do now, top 3 draft fits for prospects in the draft. Doesn't matter if it's ridiculous, outrageous, whatever comparisons you have is completely okay with me. I have my 3, Chris has his 3, Kev can throw in 1 if he wants to. I'll start it off. And I gotta figure out which one I want to start with. Okay, you know what? I'll start with the bold one because I love this pick. All right. The San Francisco 49ers. That's you, Chris. That's your boys right there.
Here we go.
My perfect draft fit for the San Francisco 49ers is Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Out of any player I could have picked a running back, a receiver, a tight end, O-lineman, D-lineman, linebacker, cornerback, safety, kicker, punter, fullback. I picked Justin Fields. There's a couple reasons why. Number 1, I'm sick and tired of hearing the Mac Jones bullshit. I don't like that take at all. Yeah, they went to his pro day. Whoop-de-fucking-do. You went to a pro day. You know what they also did? They also scheduled a private meeting and a private workout with Justin Fields for this week. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, John Lynch loves to mess with people at the top of the draft. He loves to do it. Did it with Mitch Trubisky, number 2 to number 3 overall. Tricked the Bears into thinking he was going to take that piece of garbage from North Carolina. Didn't, took Solomon Thomas. We could be seeing another thing like this again. Teams that are so bought into the Mac Jones hype train that I think John Lynch facilitated might be intrigued now to trade up to number 3, have the Niners trade down a couple spots, and still snag Fields. You never know. But regardless, at 3, I still think they take Fields, even if they don't get the trade offer they want to move down a little bit. And here's why. He's the perfect mixture of athleticism and passing ability. He's built to be a play-action quarterback in the NFL. And he fits Kyle Shanahan's offense like a glove. Reason number 2, not a huge ego guy. He's a guy that goes in the building, stays quiet, does his work, and then leaves. And that's a guy that Shanahan loves to have around. Because if we're being honest here, Kyle Shanahan is the true quarterback of this offense. And he always has been. Even with the Super Bowl run a couple years ago against the Chiefs. Garoppolo, yeah, hit a decent season, but the season was defined by the 49ers offense by running the football, by including guys like Raheem Mostert and guys like Tevin Coleman. And even guys like was it Matt Breida on the team at that point? I'm not really sure. But the guys like that in that backfield were staples of the offense. It wasn't Garoppolo slinging the ball 80 times a game. Absolutely. It was running the ball consistently and aggressively for most of the football game, early to end. That's how they did it. And that's how they got the recipe to winning. With some passes mixed in there. I'm not saying Garoppolo did nothing, but I'm just saying I think Fields can do better. And not to mention, if you take Fields at 3, Garoppolo's off your books anyway, because there's no way in hell you don't trade the guy if you're taking a quarterback at 3. I hate that rumor too. Lynch and the 49ers was like, oh, we might keep Jimmy after this too. You're not keeping a $135 million quarterback on your books after you drafted his successor. That's not how this works. That's how the NFL works, and nobody, including anyone in the NFL circles, should believe an ounce of that. Justin Fields is more dynamic than Mac Jones and is more pro-ready than Trey Lance. He's the perfect fit for Shanahan's offense, and I would love to see them actually take him at 3 and see the 49ers not only survive, but thrive with him as their franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years.
Mm-hmm. I'm with that. I see it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Justin Fields, although I don't think that any quarterback that we pick up is going to stay for long because Deshaun Watson is still out there. My hopes are still high. Fingers are still crossed. I just feel like that's the kind of the route that we would want to go. You're talking about a more established quarterback, a better winning quarterback as well. That would be more of a fit for us. But I hear what you're saying. But I'm gonna go with Kyle Pitts. And you know where I think he should go? I think he needs to go to Denver. That's right. I said Denver. They are known for doing well with receiving tight ends. You're thinking about what's this guy's name? Shannon Sharp. Guys like him who came out there and had amazing years, who is not a traditional blocking tight end, but a route running type of receiving tight end. That's what he was known for. And when you see this guy, Kyle Pitts, and you see him out there in his pro day, he's running for, what did he run, a 4.4?
Everyone's running a 4.3 this year. I don't know what the hell's going on, but everyone's running a 4.3.
It's ridiculous, not especially for a tight end. This guy is strong. He's 245. He benched 225 22 times as a tight end, a receiving tight end. I only benched 18. He had 22. This guy right here is amazing to me. I like Kyle Pitts a lot from Florida. I think he would work extremely well with the Broncos and their heritage and how they just groomed their players from the draft. And like you said, Drew Lock is still out there. He's a good player. He's going to have a chance to have a security. That would be a security blanket for him, essentially, when he's in trouble. In those times when he's going up against those big defensive ends and rushing him, and he's trying to get out the pocket and find somebody down the field instead of just going down all the way down the field to Tim Patrick or Jared Judy. You got Kyle Pitts running across the field, who's going to catch the ball with strong hands and make somebody miss either with a juke or just straight shedding them off of him and keeping it pushing. Kyle Pitts is a great pick for me going to Denver.
I love that take. Was not expecting it at all. I had no idea where you're going with that at first, but I loved it. And you mentioned Shannon Sharp. How about a guy like Julius Thomas, too, who thrived with Peyton Manning a couple years ago? Or not, more than a couple now. I sort of my head's in 2014 always, so I always think it was just a couple years ago. But yeah, Julius Thomas thriving with Peyton Manning. And even a guy like Noah Fant, who they drafted just a couple years ago, is thriving in that offense as well. And when you look at it from that angle, if you take Kyle Pitts, who's really a receiver built in a tight end's body,
yes,
you now have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant, Kyle Pitts, Melvin Gordon, and Phillip Lindsay all on the field. That's
and
ridiculous.
Tim Patrick. Don't forget about Tim Patrick. He's too.
Fair enough. Tim Patrick too. That's a scary offense. And if you were able to get Drew Lock to compete anywhere near the level he is able to, or if you get a guy like Deshaun Watson, who actually mentioned he wouldn't mind going to Denver, that's one of the top AFC teams in the league.
Absolutely.
But I love that take. I like that a lot. All right. My next one comes with the Dallas Cowboys. So they're at number 10 overall. It could be anybody, but I think the guy's going to be Patrick Surtain II. This is my favorite corner out of the draft, and that's hard to really say as well because guys like Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech sitting there as well is a great fit for them as well. Even J.C. Horn sitting there at 18. Where I think will be around 18 and around that range. But Patrick Surtain, Alabama. These Alabama corners deal with unbelievable receiving talent week in and week out. I love the fit there. Surtain has the ability to shut down one side of the field. And that's exactly what you want to do when you draft a guy, a corner this high in the draft. Speaking to the fit of the Dallas Cowboys, they need help all over the secondary. They desperately need help all over the secondary. So bringing in any guy will help. But I think Surtain's the guy to lock down that side of the field and have a Darrelle Revis type effect on the Dallas Cowboys defense. Love Surtain at 10 for the Cowboys. They need to rebuild that secondary. I think Surtain's the first step in that long process.
I hear it. See, and I'm gonna throw another one out here because we already said that we're not going in any order of these picks, but Najee Harris to Pittsburgh. That would be nasty. That would be a team that would legit be competing for a Super Bowl every year as long as he stays healthy. This guy is a monster. You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
Brandon Jacobs from out of New York. That's exactly who he reminds me of.
like that.
A guy who's big, strong, another fast guy. You know what I'm saying? He's great with a vision. You know what I'm saying? He has good hands. He can do it all. He's a good blocker. He's smart. He's quiet. You know, it's another guy like you always say. You like those guys that like to go in, do your work, take the extra time to get your job done, and then go home. That's the kind of guy that I see him as. And if he can make it to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I legit feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers could go into being a contender for the Super Bowl.
Did you steal that one from my mock draft, Chris?
Absolutely not.
Because I have him going 24 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is awesome too. Najee Harris.
I'm with it though. So
am I. I think that's a great pick. I think James Conner is completely off the market now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's still a free agent. You would have brought him back if you were interested, and you're not. And so you bring in Harris, fresh blood, Alabama blood, which has obviously been known to lead to unbelievable successful running backs in the NFL. Mark Ingram and Derrick Henry. To just name a couple that are thriving in the league right now. Harris as a Steeler is a great fit for me. I do wonder about the Super Bowl contention thing. I'm not sure if I'm bought onto that completely because I don't think Big Ben has it anymore when it comes to actually being able to push that team over the top. But I think the fit with the Steelers offense in general is a home run. So I'm with you with that, I think, 100%.
Right.
My third and final pick for the perfect kind of fit in this draft class. I'm kind of twisted between a couple here. Right now, I'm looking at pick 13. And the Chargers sitting at 13, coming off a very triumphant negative season. What I mean by that is they found the guy. And once you find the guy, that's all that really matters. That really is all that really matters. Herbert throws 35 touchdowns his rookie year and looks to be a perennial All-Pro in his future. What's next, we might ask? You have to protect him. With that being said, 13th overall, Rashawn Slater, offensive lineman out of Northwestern. This guy has a great story. Look it up if you guys don't know it. It takes a long time to explain. But Rashawn Slater can both run block, pass block, and can be a franchise tackle on either side of the line. Those guys, when you have a franchise quarterback who's young, are necessary, and you need to invest in them as quickly and as often as you can. If you surround Justin Herbert with good protection, he will make things happen. He will make plays happen, and he will get you to the biggest game in all of sports, the Super Bowl, if you can protect him. And I think Rashawn Slater is the number one option at 13 for them to kind of swoop up. And if Sewell's available and you can trade up for him, I would take Sewell over Slater. But if Slater's sitting there at 13 and you're kind of considering a couple different options, don't. Slater's the guy that you want to take if he's there at 13. And before I move on here, I want to mention one more guy as well. We'll go through my mock draft here that I think would be a phenomenal fit as well. Just throwing it out there really early. Travis Etienne, the Clemson running back, going to the Jets. At 23, I think would be a phenomenal fit. A lot of people were surprised at him going before Najee Harris. I think Etienne brings a different dynamic that he can catch out of the backfield as well. Caught phenomenal on his pro day. I think the Jets need a desperate influx of talent at running back. Frank Gore is our top bell cow back right now. That's a bad combination for anyone who's under center. They're going to go Zach Wilson at 2. I think it's pretty well known at this point. So I think if you bring in a guy like Etienne to help ease the process of being a rookie quarterback along, maybe hand it off to him 25 times a game, get him a couple catches out of the backfield, I think it makes Wilson's job a lot easier, makes Etienne's job a lot easier, as opposed to being in a different kind of system without a rookie guy next to him, handing it off and passing it to him. So I think Etienne of the Jets is a great fit as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a great spot for him to flourish and to learn and to understand the game of football, because this game is a tricky sport. If you don't have the right pieces around you, you will fail. And that leads me into mines, where you would have somebody that you can actually learn from. He's a year in. He's already played in the game. This team may not necessarily be the best team, but I feel like if two people can get together at a very young age, they can spark something that hasn't been done in a very long time in this city. And I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins has a great quarterback that can potentially be out of this world. Russell Wilson type numbers. This guy is amazing. He can throw. He can run. He's smart. He's very educated. I like Tua a lot. And I'm telling you this: I am not a Alabama Roll Tide fan, but I am for this draft. I think Devontae Smith could get to Miami and work with Tua, somebody that he's already comfortable with, and they learn and grow together. I think that would be a crazy dynamic in Miami with those two guys as their perennial all-stars on that team. Because you were talking about a guy like Devontae Smith who can take the top off. Absolutely take the top off. A guy who can work the field on play actions, which is something that Tua is extremely good at, that he's grown up doing his whole career. If you get those two guys together, I think they would cause problems for plenty of teams to come down in Miami, and it would bring back that surge back to Miami for not only from them not just being a basketball city, but also a football city as well.
Bring back that Dan Marino swagger. I like it. As in terms of the fit, they bring in Will Fuller in the offseason, who's a similar type player, veteran, obviously, and you obviously have a Devontae Parker on the other side of the football, who's turning into a really dynamic player. Smith coming in, I would love to see it. I think the arsenal would be nice, but I do question whether or not they'll go with the same type of speedy guy after acquiring Will Fuller. I like to see it. I think it would be a good fit. I just question whether or not they'd actually pull the trigger on him if he's available, just because of signing after Will Fuller. But that's just me.
Right. I hear you. But listen, check me out. We're talking about Will Fuller, a guy who's been riddled with injuries his past couple years. Now, I know what your rebuttal is going to be. Devontae Smith, he's dealt with injuries as well. But Devontae Smith is coming out of college, and he hasn't been in the NFL to where he can get the proper. I'm not going to say that because Alabama, their organization is bar none. But when you're talking about college to pro training, it's completely different. You have more time to focus on your craft than to focus on schoolwork. So I think if you can get him out there and allow him to train and understand the game, put a little bit. I don't want to put too much weight on him, but you can just give him like 10 more pounds. Actually, 5 to 7 more pounds. We ain't even go to 10. 5 to 7 more pounds because he needs to keep that speed. You can see something very special because he reminds me a lot of another guy who is a California native to me, Deshaun Jackson.
You're on fire today, Chris. Not gonna lie, you're on fire today.
It's a good one. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro. when we were talking about these teams and these players, and I'm just thinking, and I'm looking at film, I'm watching people, and I'm like, these guys would be a crazy match, and it would click a lot faster than probably Will Fuller, to be honest with you, because these guys were in college together.
True, the chemistry's
he knows how to throw the ball to Devontae Smith. Like, he knows how Devontae Smith is built, how he's going to get out of his routes, how he's going to move, how he's going to run, all of this stuff, man. These are things that a quarterback loves. They love to have somebody, a security blanket. That's why tight ends are so valuable to quarterbacks. So if you can get somebody like Devontae Smith on the Miami Dolphins and allow them to grow together, it's a wrap.
Get him on that TB12. Get him on that TB12 pliability to lessen the injury stuff, and then put him in the weight room. I like it. We should take prop bets. Who weighs more, Devontae Smith or intern Kev? I think it's Kev. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's Kev.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
No, Smith is like 170 pounds.
You think I weigh more?
You're like what? One? Actually, no. Ballpark like what? 150.
140 maybe.
What?
Yep.
Kev,
I got no muscle on this arm.
Kev, I'm like 210 pounds.
I am very
skinny.
But
both of y'all, but you and Kev's arms probably look the same.
Chris, I'll fly out to California and smack you right now. Don't test me. I got the airport right behind me. Don't test me. All right. All right. I think that's it. Any final thoughts?
No, we gotta go with Kev.
Oh yeah, Kev, give me a fit. Yeah, Kev, give me a fit.
All right, I'll do one for the Patriots. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Hey, Deshaun Watson, shut it. Kev's talking.
It's not crazy. It's not gonna be Deshaun Watson crazy. Trust me. So say we get rid of Gilmore, right? Because there's rumors about that. I think we can get Horn, squeeze him in there, replace Gilmore.
Say that again.
J.C. Horn.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it might be a little bit of a reach because he's like, what, a few picks behind us. He could go
late teens, but the Patriots aren't shy about doing that. So I mean, I wouldn't
exactly.
No.
And then if we don't get rid of Gilmore, maybe a linebacker like you said in your mock draft with Zaven Collins or Micah Parsons if he's there. That'd be nice.
Also, by the way, and obviously other people are on.
I think that should be the first thing they go for.
Yeah, I think so too. But I was looking on Right Away comments on my mock draft. I do listen to them, by the way. And anyway, I saw one. It was like a whole thread. And the first comment was, "Why would you take a linebacker?" And if I have to explain it to you, you didn't watch the season. Like I don't know what to tell you because like Hightower almost retired and he's 33 and injury prone. You don't have an inside guy behind him. You don't. So I mean, obviously I think it's Zaven Collins too. And I saw Zaven Collins on someone else's Patriots draft board, not mine. So I'm not crazy. That somebody else said it too. So I'm not insane. I'm not.
And you need to also go back and check the last podcast as well because Joe has been on this from the beginning. So I think it's a good pick. I think that, like you said, with Hightower on the rocks right now, you need somebody that's going to be there to take over because Hightower is going to in all respect to him. Hightower is going to be a huge gap to fill because he did so much. He was such a leader. He was such an amazing athlete, especially for the Patriots. You would need somebody who's going to be able to come in there and kind of fill that gap up pretty quick.
Yeah, and I wanted the Patriots last year to take Patrick Queen. I was begging him to take Queen.
Yeah.
And I wanted
he's
him
doing amazing right now.
Yeah, he's doing great, right? Like, he's doing phenomenal. And also, you were sitting there, I think they were taking like 23, they're picking like 23, something like that. So 23, 22, something like that. And he traded to the Chargers, and they end up taking the linebacker that I wanted for them second, Kenneth Murray Jr. And he actually had a pretty good season, too. So that drives me crazy. But yeah, the one thing I want to stress about the linebacker, it's interior. Yeah, we have a lot of outside guys, a lot of edge guys that can play. I understand that. I'm stressing interior because none of the guys on the roster outside Hightower have significant experience or really relevant experience playing inside.
Right.
You need to pass the torch on. You passed it. You had guys like Ted Johnson, Teddy Bruschi. You passed that on to Dante Hightower, and you have to pass it off again. Yeah. Who's it going to be? You got to figure it out at some point. I wanted to be Patrick Queen. It didn't happen. So you had to figure it out sooner or later. Final thought for me. Sam Darnold to Carolina. I like it a lot. That's my final. Also, I want to mention one more thing too. Personal shout out. Happy birthday to my roommate Brendan Parr and my good friend Melanie Orlando, both turning 21 today. That's a pretty cool moment. Both have been going through some tough stuff at home, so I just want to give them a little uplifting message. Love you guys. You guys are doing great, and everything will be all right. So that's my final thought.
Drinks on me.
Drinks on Chris. He said it, not me.
No, I don't have much. It's off season. I don't have much to say. I just want to say, everybody, stay safe, stay happy. And Deshaun Watson to the Niners. Let's go.
Kev?
It's probably not going to happen. That's that.
Y'all are haters. I'm telling you. If this was the Patriots, if this was the Patriots, like, oh no, we have to get Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't hear about no other quarterback. I wouldn't even hear about. Probably I would hear about Tom Brady, but. No other quarterback, no other player. You probably give up your whole team just to get this guy, Deshaun Watson. So now it's my turn. I know that if the 49ers is smart, like I know they are, we're going to make that happen. He's still out there. Now, he needs to go through his legal situation, which that needs to play out, and whatever happens, whatever is the outcome, that needs to be put in place, and it needs to be handled the correct way. But if he is out there and he is able to play, we are going to get him.
Episode 26, Stafford and Matthews. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.